time. Week 3 of Weekend at Gabe's. We got a great show lined up. Running a little bit behind, but we're gonna make this thing work. We are gonna make this thing work. So we are expecting to talk with Chicago's own Brittney Carter, who is actually based out of Blue Island, but we still got love for her. We're gonna rep her and put the city behind her. We'll get into that. And then coming up later in the show, we're going to talk with Ash Wednesday. If you noticed that I didn't bother to comb my hair at all this evening, because I think it's a true reflection of how we are feeling at the moment with the current state of the election lingering and drawing to an end at the speed of a tortoise. But we'll get there eventually. Maybe with our democracy still intact. We'll find out. Either way, I think this is a true reflection of how everyone is feeling at the moment. So we're going to be all right. But yeah, I stood up till 2, 3 in the morning, Wednesday morning, watching returns, hoping to hear the breaking news that a winner had been determined. But as we are sitting here Friday nights, that has not been the case or the call. So we're going to continue to wait. But I understand that we should be getting some major news coming across this hour, including from Arizona, as they have a number of votes that are expected to be announced. So it's going to get really interesting really fast. But maybe tonight or tomorrow, the latest or the earliest, we might find out if we have a new president or a president-elect. Stay tuned, America and the world. But yeah, it's just been an absolutely crazy, insane week that I think we've all been patiently waiting for 4 years. So I'm glad that we're off and running, and we're almost at the end of it, which is I think all of us were expecting to hear. But we definitely need to give a shout out to the good folks in both Detroit and Atlanta that are bringing this election to a conclusion and the American nightmare to an end soon. So thank you. And it does not go unnoticed that the predominant folks who punched those votes and mailed in those votes are Black. And so we need to salute Stacey Abrams in Georgia for doing all that fantastic work she's done for the last decade in Georgia to flip Georgia blue. And I don't want that to get lost on anyone, nor should it. And shout out to the good folks in Detroit who are also Black, who also punched the blue card and is going to put Biden on into the White House, so it appears. So there was a lot of Latin, Black, and Native American votes in critical swing states, including Arizona and Nevada, that really changed the dynamic of this race. So that should not get lost on anyone. So just remember that. Remember that. Yeah, so I'm just really looking forward to today. Brittney Carter is just a name that we know in Chicago. She's been putting out mixtapes or been featured on mixtapes, SoundCloud guest feature. I'm really excited to talk to her about her new album, which is phenomenal. I talked about it on Vocalo a couple weeks ago, and I really enjoyed it. It's just such a pleasant listen to. And, that was something that I was talking with Johnny Jones on Tuesday when he stopped through to talk about the Kenny EP he put out in September. And sometimes that's what you need. You just need a thought-provoking album that just gives you something extra, a lot of emotion, a lot of soul. And I think that's what Brittney Carter brings on her new EP or new album, As I Am. So, so why even wait? I asked her to jump on at 8:10, but she's early in the guest room, so we're going to bring her in. How are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so glad you can join us on Friday night here on Weekend at Gabe's. This is a new platform that we're experimenting with, so I appreciate you giving us your time.
I appreciate you for the invite. This is really cool.
Nice. We are, so as I was kind of bantering a little bit in the beginning, is that this has been a very exhausting week for anyone who's an American. How happy are you that this thing is going to finally reach a conclusion, or maybe not? Who knows? But how close have you been following the election?
Just a little bit. Haven't really been giving too much energy to it.
Really? Oh wow. I've been polar opposite. I can't do anything else. Well, my kids have to feed themselves from now on, at least until we find out who wins.
Understood.
So you have the new album out. Congratulations, a huge achievement. I know that's something that you've been working on, strategically working on, and making sure that it was fine crafted and tuned to meet your standards. I read in your profile piece that the Reader did about a year and a half ago that you had been flirting with the idea of an album back then, but it wasn't just quite ready. So now it seems like it's ready. What made the album ready for consumption and for the public listening? What happened?
Really just finishing recording, finishing up videos, trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to do with my merchandise and things like that. So I just wanted to make sure I had everything ready to go before I actually, just release the project. I wanted to make sure I had everything lined up.
Nice. Now that it's out, people always, that's the debut album is the baby, right? Because that's what people, if they weren't following you before, this may be their introduction to who Brittney Carter is. And there's always a lot of weight with sort of that first offering. Do you feel a sense of relief, joy? How can you describe the emotion of finally putting it out there?
I feel so much. I don't know. I feel really good about it. I wasn't really sure how people were going to receive it. I know I loved it. But I was just, I guess, hoping that the people and the people who listen to my music, received it well, and so far so good.
Yeah. Your father is a huge hip hop listener, and I read that Jay-Z is his favorite rapper. Um, I know that's a hard comparison to make. And
Yeah.
as a parent, and I don't have yet any children who are old enough to make their own albums, but I have to imagine that he's very biased and favorable to you. So,
Oh, yeah.
what has his response been?
Oh my God! Like he's like a super fan. His social media looks exactly like my social media. So it's really funny. It's really cool. He's very supportive, of course, because he's a huge hip hop head. So I think he's just really happy.
That's good. Has he critiqued or given any feedback? He's like, yeah, maybe you should like this bar was hot, this one not so much. Like you
Not
could
really. Most of the time, he's just like around the crib, just saying random lines of like songs that I have. I'm just like, stop, like, please.
I mean, but that's so cool though that he's like quoting your music, so you know that he's listening. So it's not like he's just like passing it off, like like if it was like an essay or something. It's like, yeah, it was really good. He's actually listening, and he's listening to enough that he can memorize it. So that's good.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm very grateful for just having supportive parents. I don't a lot of people may not have that, so I'm very grateful.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. My mom is usually the first one to like anything I post or promote about this show. So, I shout out to my mom, day one supporter. Even though she doesn't understand what I do, but she's always going to share and like it. So, you gotta love it.
No, parents are always the first ones to support. Got to show them love.
Exactly. Well, you've had quite a little bit of excitement leading up to this release. Last month, you put out an amazing like freestyle. You and Olive Blue just kind of like hanging out like on a skate park freestyling, and then one Missy Elliott decided to poke her head into your life and click like. That had to be an enormous moment, even though just like a like, but to know that she saw your work and someone of her stature in hip hop and the music and music writing and all that she's done, I know that had to feel good.
Hell yeah. I was like, oh shit, maybe I am talented. Yeah, I am pretty good.
Like, can you put on your bio now, co-signed by Missy
Oh,
Elliott?
hell yeah. I'm just like, okay, I want to add this to the list of add this to the list of celebrities that like my shit. This is pretty cool.
There you go. Like, do you get like extra mashed potatoes at the dinner table now because like Missy Elliott gave you a
I,
co-sign?
I really, I stay alone, so no, not really.
Understood. Well, I mean but that had to like feel like good because it was like right on the eve of the album. So even
So,
if because like in the album there's like this feeling of like self doubt a little bit, and there's
mhm.
this human intuition that when something is good, it's almost that imposter syndrome. Like you
Yeah,
feel like it's going so good that you're like, I can't believe it. Everything's going so good. So let me find a way to screw it up. And so the album like bounces on this this tipsy turvy way of you like embracing the success but also kind of questioning if it's legit, if it feels real, like it happened so soon, like you're like, yo, it's only a couple years ago I was at Home Depot and now I'm
yeah,
making music for a living. That's crazy.
yeah.
So how do you like how do you settle those feelings? Like, do you give that much thought? Like, do I belong here despite anything I might be feeling internally?
I mean, I'm not really sure if they ever settle. I think just working, continue to do what I'm doing. I think that kind of like solidifies like the feelings of doubt. I don't think they can really come from outside sources either. It's just something that you have to kind of like work through on your own.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that anyone who's either doing media, music, anything like in a public forum, you're always gonna feel like, is it a good enough, or why are people liking it? Like, is it? You can always question 1,000 reasons why something is popping and not working, and have a certain feeling about that. And I can't imagine as being an artist like yourself, like putting yourself out there and seeing the success and the approval and the positive reception and being wowed by it. Or even being overwhelmed by it. Did you often get taken aback by how many people are listening to your records and responding to it, or leaving messages on social media?
As of lately, I wouldn't say it's overwhelming, but I definitely realize now that like, oh, it's not realistic for me to respond to everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah, in the beginning, it was more so like I want to be interactive with everybody who's showing me love because they don't really have to take time out of their day to like listen to this. And now it's just like, okay, I'm just gonna put this out because the following is growing, and I can't really respond to everybody, but I do my best to keep in touch with the people who've been there from the beginning.
absolutely. Well, what has been the best part of this journey? Like I was mentioning, I had read that you were like a few short years ago. You're working in like merchandising for Home Depot. It was like people were like returning stuff they didn't want. Is that what you were doing?
So I want to say in the beginning, I was just working in the gardening center at Home Depot, and
Mm,
I eventually saw it opening up for merchandising, and basically, I mean, shit, we just like build shit and merchandise shit. We're not really like customers or anything like that. We're
yeah,
just we basically work for the vendors. And so that's what I was doing. I had like a really early shift, and I had like a set schedule every day, Monday through Friday. And eventually, I was just like, yeah, I gotta let this shit go.
yeah.
I think like I quit like right after I opened up for J Rock. I was just like, no, I can't go back here.
I read that like you had only maybe enough money for like 1 month of rent when you decided to quit. I think
Okay.
a lot of people who are pursuing a passion or a dream and hanging on, having like one foot in security and one foot in the dream, but not ready to let go. I think that's a decision that I've had to make, and I know a lot of people who are chasing art. They have to make it. Like how scary as hell that is, but also how fulfilling and relieved that you are making the leap and you're just gonna go for it.
Oh man, that shit was scary as hell. I was just like, don't know how I'm gonna pay these bills, but everything will work out. Like I don't know why I had such an optimistic viewing of like, oh yeah, like this shit's gonna have to work out. I really didn't have like anything to lean on, so it was just like a leap of faith, and I'm like, okay, this shit is gonna either work or not.
Yeah. I mean, you ended up working a little bit part time doing daycare under your mom's daycare. I understand. So like you that kind of helped. So but it's part time, so it gave you more flexibility to continue to work on your craft.
Yeah,
That helps. You make the same money, but don't have to work as twice as much.
yeah, yeah. I had a lot of free time to
I,
actually create things.
So you had two younger siblings. Like, do you like being around kids? Like, what is? And also, you studied child education. Like, what is it about like children that you appreciate, or that focus? Do you
Actually
enjoy that?
have I actually have a lot of different siblings. There's a lot of us. um,
Okay,
my mom is a foster mom. So I have two siblings that I grew up living with in the house, but my mom also adopted two kids, and then there's a third one that she's going through the process of right now. And I have siblings on my dad's side, so there's quite a few of us.
nice. So, what child education? I mean, where you still? Did you think about being a teacher or policy? What were you trying to do there?
So my mom owns a daycare, and I was just like, I'm just gonna take over her business. And then that was the plan. I'm just gonna take over her business. She's not gonna want to do this forever. And one day I was just like in class, and I'm just like, I'm gonna drop out. Like, I don't be here right now. Yeah. When I'm disinterested in something, like I'll completely disengage, and so that's when I knew I'm just like, yeah, it's time for me to leave here.
Yeah, I totally understand that as well. I can't imagine. There's a many of days I spent in community college just taking classes for the hell of it. I'm like, why am I doing this? So I understand. um, so the journey has been fruitful for you. Like you passed through YCA. With Kevin Koval, you developed a relationship with Ad2, who's also one of my favorite MCs, uh, not even in the city, but just of anyone that I've ever heard. He's phenomenal. And cultivating those relationships, well, what did that do to help boost your self esteem, your confidence in what you were writing, the poetry that you were writing, and then to make the leap into being an MC?
Well, I want to say sometime in like 2000, maybe late 2014, or maybe actually I don't know. It was sometime in 2014. I was introduced to the whole YCA scene. I was like unfamiliar. I wasn't familiar with the art scene at all. And I started going to their, I want to say on Saturdays, they had like writing workshops, like poetry geared, like workshops. And I'm just like, oh, okay, I'll check this out, see how this is. And it was really cool. I'm just like, oh shit, like there's like a group of people who enjoy the same type of shit I like. So it was I think it was just being in the same room in the same community as people who were interested in the same thing that I was, and I'm just like, oh, okay. And I think eventually I got more comfortable with like sharing poems and stuff like that.
Yeah, I read that you were like a little bit kind of shy. You were like one of the last ones to like, you know, share out as like because when you think of like emceeing, it's like almost like you have to be confident and boast about who you are. That is like that almost comes with the job responsibility, right? And so
Yeah.
that those early developments of you kind of like I really don't know if this is great. I know it's good, but I'm not sure if I'm ready to take that leap yet. Did that seem like such a far fetch of where you started and where you're at now? Could you ever imagine it?
Well, in the beginning, I wasn't shooting to become an artist. I was just going to, to write and be in community with people. I wasn't really shooting to actually share music or anything like that. I wasn't even doing music. I was just I was just writing on my own at home,
Right.
and it just gradually went there.
Yeah. Scud One is helped produce most of the album with you. Talk a little bit about like your guys' relationship, how you guys collaborate. How does the process begin with? And I read that like you kind of help pick out some of the instruments to kind of like start building the song up a little bit. Where does the ideas generate, and how do you guys reach the goal of a song completed? Take me a little bit into that process.
So I'm actually still building a relationship with Scud One. I've only met him like twice.
I gotta love it.
Yeah, he hit me, I want to say in 2019. And it was so funny. It was like the perfect timing because I was working on a group of songs already, but I wasn't really satisfied. So I wanted to scrap those and start all over. And he sent me a pack of instrumentals, and I'm like, oh shit. Like, it feels like this guy knows me. So I messaged him back, asked him if I could have some of the songs for a project, and he was just like, sure.
Right.
And so that's kind of how I went through all of the things he sent me, and I kind of like just pieced together like what I wanted the project to sound like, and that's how we kind of got started.
Yeah. Well, what was the when you first started building songs for this? What did you kind of know what you wanted to say on there, or was it a collection of records that you had, and then you kind of started organizing them, and it kind of fit into a theme of what you wanted to share about yourself? Did you kind of have an idea of what you wanted to do, or did that kind of develop as you were working on the project?
That happened over time.
Mm.
What I did was I went through every single thing he sent me, and all of the things I liked. I just kind of like put them in piles of like what I liked the most, what I sort of liked, what I didn't like at all. And so I kind of just like would build around the things I was constantly listening to.
Sure. Um, I think that the part about the album I like a lot is just how personable it is, and you've always been open and expressive about yourself. But I think just like the realness, you could feel that through the songs, like we're mentioning, and I think that takes a lot of that there's a bravery in that, to putting yourself out there, because the way that sometimes hip hop reacts to honesty isn't always positive. But that's what I love about what you're doing, is that you're breaking down some of those barriers of what people think an MC or rapper should be like, and it's very thought provoking, but it's also like easily digestible. Like I can understand and feel the words, so it's just not like barred out crazy words on top of words, and you kind of follow it and understand it. It's just like it's accessible to anyone who just takes a moment to stop and listen. And I have to give you a lot of
Mm.
credit for that.
No, I appreciate it. I think I just took not even took note, but I think I create what I've consumed over the years, like my favorite things and favorite songs. I think it just like comes out when I create.
I read. I also saw that so you're into films. So you like to watch movies. Is that true?
Yes,
All right.
yes.
So do you? I don't know if you ever tried to write a movie script, but I understand that it may be similar. But do you kind of feel like when you're building a song and you're fine tuning, and that's one of the things that I love too. It feels like every word is precisely placed where it needs to be, and it's not just filler. It's like every word has its purpose. And I kind of feel like
Yeah.
that with the films, like a script to a film, the same ideology applies. Do you kind of feel, in a sense, like you're building a movie or building a scene when you're making records or writing records?
It's definitely a scene I have in my head. Like for example, I will say the Prove 'Em Wrong joint.
Yeah.
I wrote that after I came from the movies from seeing Creed.
Mm,
I wrote the hook after I seen the movie. So like books and movies are definitely like a huge inspirational like tool that I use when I'm writing.
yeah.
I don't know. It's just something. It's like a routine I have. Like I'm watching something that I really like, or maybe I'll find like an interview on YouTube that I'm really into, or like a chapter of a book that I was really like into at the time, and I kind of like use that for my inspiration.
Yeah. So you're able to like to adapt a theme or a story or something, and apply it to an experience that you yourself might have had.
Yeah.
That's something I can't do. A lot of us probably can't do, so that's great. I'm also a huge movie guy. Like I love watching movies. My entire family. That's all we do before the quarantine hit. That's how we would spend our time at the bookstore and then go to the movies.
Yeah.
We miss it dearly. We went to go see Tenet when it was playing for like a short time.
Ooh, I heard about that movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I keep hearing great things about it.
It's really good, but it's a Christopher Nolan film, so if you see Inception, you can kind of if you've seen Interstellar, you kind of know where I'm going
He
with it.
made Shutter Island, right?
Which one?
Shutter Island.
No, that was Marty.
Okay.
Oh goodness, why can't I remember his name? Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Well, that's a damn shame I can't remember his last name. But anyways, doesn't matter. But yeah, he no, it's really good, and we went. Me and my son went the opening weekend, and we went to the Logan Square Theater in Logan Square, and we sat there with our mask and came out Rona free. So it was a success. And then they shut down afterwards. So we got the last film in. But is that something that you also enjoy, going to the theaters? Is that one of the things that you do to kind of just like distance yourself from the stresses and just able to relax a little bit?
Hell yeah. I spent a lot of time. Well, before COVID, of course.
Right.
I spent a lot of my time at the movie theaters, or even if it's just like something at home. I have like a huge collection of DVDs that I've collected over time. So yeah, I spent a lot of my time watching movies and reading.
Martin Scorsese, or someone in the chat room.
Yeah, I seen it.
Struggle season. But that's fantastic. So what's the next thing? I know that we can't. And I was talking to Johnny Jones on Tuesday, because he has the EP out there, and I feel terrible for your artists like yourself who have great projects out there. And the usual routine is, all right, hit the road, tour, merch, meet the people, shake hands, kiss babies. And since all that's gone, we can't do that work, at least in person.
Yeah.
What is the strategy to try to get this thing out there and into more people's lives?
Man, it's so crazy. I feel like it's been promoting itself. It's been really cool.
That helps.
Yeah. I want to say yesterday, like Pete Rock has shared like the video with me and Olive, and so that's been able to get more ears to the projects, which has been really cool. And I mean, for as far as myself, I want to say that next week I'll be doing something with Hot Rod, like a live virtual thing. So as far as just getting merch out, doing random like pop-ups or whatever, or virtual events, that's kind of all we can really do right now, and be safe at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, that's I know it's not the same, but it's like,
yeah, it's really not the same at all. Yeah, it hasn't been fun being in the house this much. At first, in the beginning, it was cool. I'm just like, okay.
Oh yeah, I agree, 1,000%. Yeah,
love being home. This is awesome. And then I'm just like, okay, I gotta get out. This is driving me insane.
Yeah, I work from home during the day, and it was like the first few months were like, oh, this is cool. Like, I'm saving money. I'm not spending money on gas. And then I don't have to deal with traffic and all that stuff. And I think it really struck me in September of how much I'm not enjoying this anymore. It's like I enjoy driving, and I like going places, and without having to worry if I'm gonna get sick or die. It's like, I really can't wait for this thing to be over. But it's starting to feel like a little imprisoned in my own space. But
yeah, I understand what you mean. Yeah, these last few months, I'm just like, okay, I have to find just any reason to go outside. I'll take a walk around the block. Oh, yeah. Anything I can, fresh air.
And I'm not even offended, because like I have my it's like a sleeve that I put over my face when I'm running or going out for a walk, and like immediately, as like if I'm gonna come in contact with someone, I'm going across the street. Like, no chances. Yeah.
No, I understand. I really understand.
All right, so I read that you also were you were like a blog interview, like you blogged or did interviews for a local blog for Flow for Days.
For a little while. That's funny.
All right, so you did interviews. You said you really enjoyed it. You really liked it. So I need to Brittney Carter, coach me on being a better interviewer. That's what I need to know tonight.
I mean, it was a very brief thing I was doing, and I wasn't doing like physical interviews. It was just me checking out people's music and giving like my honest review of the songs. I was really trying to find like people in the city, or not just in the city, but just people I would come across who are like underground, and I would listen to the songs, and I would do like a in-depth interview of their music. So that was really cool.
Oh, so you were critiquing the work. So
not really. I was just like finding random, like, just no matter what the genre was, like it didn't really have to be hip hop. It could be like R&B. I was just like finding stuff that sounded really cool. And I'm just like, okay, I'm going to write about this. And, hopefully somebody can see this and like and share their stuff.
There you go. Has anyone come back and be like, yo, Brittney Carter reviewed my stuff?
And it's so crazy. So there's a guy from Detroit named Courtney Bell, and I didn't really have any music out at the time. But I thought his music was like so dope, and I'm just like, yo, like I'm just gonna do a quick, quick review, real quick, and post this on the site or whatever. And I actually ended up being introduced to him a few years later, and we're good friends now. So that's pretty awesome.
There you go. That's great. So yeah, I mean, I've before I started doing this, I was trying to compete with the fake short drives in the early tens, and
Yeah.
I followed a lot of your same strategy, like finding people who didn't have a following, just like dig up records off SoundCloud or DatPiff and all these other places that that have dead links now that don't exist. They're somewhere in a grave in the internet grave. But yeah, that's exactly what I was doing, and it was kind of rewarding in a sense, finding like people who are putting stuff out and getting that acknowledgement and seeing their reaction. That and it could have been the same thing probably for you as well. So in reviewing your stuff and talking about it, and how long did you kind of feel like you were putting work out there and no one's noticing it, and that has to be kind of like a depressing feeling, and then someone to highlight it and talk positively about it, that has to be a real confidence booster, I imagine.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I'm still amazed that people are really like enjoying this project this much. Like not that I don't, like my confidence is low or anything, but I'm such a perfectionist, such a huge perfectionist, and so I always want everything to be perfect. And it's really cool to see that people are actually enjoying this project and are like paying attention to the lyrics. That's something I do with my favorite music. So it's cool to see other people doing the same thing with something that I've created. It's a really rewarding feeling.
Yeah, I see. You even got like the so the what you got Navarro like on the other side, like telling you like, "Yo, what are you doing? What are you talking about?" And it reminded me so much of Biggie and Puff with the it, it's the most random song, but to refer to your song,
No, I that's what I was going for. So that's really cool.
the suicidal thoughts, where he's like, "Yo, Big, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
I was like, "That's so amazing." It felt like just like an updated, modified version of it that sounded really cool. Try to talk you off the ledge.
Yeah. That's like plenty of times I'm like, Navarro, I don't even want to do this anymore. So he's like probably so sick of me. Like, Brittany, what are you talking about?
Like midnight text, like, "What are we doing?"
It's gonna work. Brittany, relax. You're thinking too much.
That's great. No, I really, I was like, I was thinking about it. And I was like, "Oh, that's phenomenal. That's really great." Um,
Yeah.
Let me let you go, but thank you so much. Tell people where they can follow you, how they can get the album, put it into their live stream.
Oh man, look. So my name is Brittney Carter. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at underscore Brittney. That's BRITTNEY Carter. And my project is everywhere. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, as I am. And you can also check out the Loop Theory website. You can purchase it directly from me if that's what you would like to do. And I also have merch out, so that's pretty tight.
There you go. Help support Brittney Carter, who's putting the city on her back, and we're definitely supporting you. And thank you so much for finding time to join us here on Weekend at Gabe's. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Please, if you ever want to stop by again, we would love to have you back.
Oh, thank you so much for the invite.
Sounds good. Thank you, Brittney. Brittney Carter joining us here on Weekend at Gabe's. We're going to be talking with another talent here in the city, Ash Wednesday. She has a couple singles out that is really bubbling and has making a little bit of noise. And it's just fun records. And she's also such a fun person to talk to, too. I talked with her maybe a couple years ago at Radio 1 Chicago when I was on WLUW. She stopped by. I think she was with Nassim Williams. She might have to correct me on this. And she came by with a number of different artists, and she just hung out and rapped for us and performed, and it was such a really great experience. And I'm glad that she's able to jump back on here with us. So here on Weekend at Gabe's, Ash Wednesday. How are you this evening? Hanging in there?
Hey Gabe, I'm doing good.
Good.
It's good to be back. Thank you.
I mean, the election has totally wore me out this week, so I'm anxious for it to be over. I was just asking Brittney Carter a moment ago if she was watching it. She said, "Not really." Have you been following any of these developments like myself, just glued to the TV, or not really?
I try to get the information from other people. I feel like they give me a more softer approach than having to watch the number, the line. I don't want to. Yeah, the constant updates. I can't handle it.
It was. I was mentioning that I was on up till about 3 in the morning. Wednesday.
It's too much. No. You can't.
It was Wednesday morning. I was up to about 2-3 in the morning because they were just like, "Yo, we're gonna get a new batch coming up in 30 minutes." They just kept teasing that like something big was gonna happen. And I don't know if you ever seen Bronx Tale. It's like when the kids are just hanging out and they're like, "God forbid you went home and you missed something." And I felt like that.
Yeah,
I was like, I can't do it. Like I have to witness this with my own eyes, and I still feel like that. But
well, they should be delivering you results very soon, right?
I understand that there is maybe at 8:00 before we logged on, I was watching MSNBC, and they were saying that Arizona was going to do a big dump at 8:00 or 9:00 Western. So we'll see. I don't know. Well, I'll find out when we get off, but I'll probably tweet about it.
Georgia flipped.
Well, it's not official. It's not official, but
MVP of the election. Okay.
I said at the top of the show, Stacey Abrams.
We're bringing it back. Bringing it back to Stacey Abrams.
Stacey Abrams is the real MVP, folks. Let me just tell you, she's been doing this for almost 10 years. Voting drives. She had the election. She had her election stolen from her, and she continues to still grind and get people registered in a very, very red state like Georgia. So she needs all the props and all her flowers today.
She got 800,000 people registered to vote since 2018. That's a lot of votes.
And consider that even with all those additional votes, that Biden is just still eking by. So there just needs to be some more new voters. But aside from that, I'm glad you're here to join us. I appreciate it. You had a couple new singles that are popping off right now. What is it? Don't tell me. Getting Dramatic and Solutions. You put those out recently. Those are fun records. And that's the thing that I always enjoyed when you came by LUW. I think it was a year or two ago. I can't remember, Ash. But
maybe last year around this time, October.
Was it? I don't know. That was such a weird period for me to remember.
No Jewels. So that came out last 2019 October.
Was it? Okay, cool. Yep. And you came by with CC and Nasim, right? You were you guys all came together.
No, yeah, we came. Yeah.
All right, so I kind of remembered it. I'm pretty sure there's a photo somewhere of all of us.
I remember that.
So you're originally from Iowa, right? And how did you land in Chicago? That seems people coming from Iowa. I'm pretty sure that usually they're just baseball players because they're part of the Cubs farm system. But how did you make your way east to the city?
I was drafted by the Cubs. I'm just kidding. I
believe it.
I came for school and I stayed because there's not a lot going on in Iowa.
It was Northwestern, right?
Yeah. Yep. I don't like to brag. I don't say the name unless you bring it up. So.
I mean, flex. I mean, you paid for it.
I did pay for it. That's a true story.
So shout out to Evanston. But yeah, what were you studying while you were there?
I studied social policy and philosophy.
Nice.
Yeah.
My inner child dares to ask, how do you apply that to real life?
It's social policy is a lot like public policy, like government, school, education policy.
Sure.
So that's kind of like everyday life and how it runs. And philosophy, I think, it teaches you how to think, how to make an argument, how to make things internally logical.
Sure. Does that
hiring philosophers? That's true, and they probably prefer you keep it to yourself, whatever philosophy you do have. But
does that help when you're doing the web series Enlighten? That when you're listening to your subject, and does it kind of help develop or respond in a improvised way? Do you notice that it kind of helps filter some of the thoughts and questions when you're listening to someone speak?
I don't know if philosophy did it. Philosophy helps you decipher lots of old texts.
So that information does not apply to anything in media.
I wouldn't say so. It's a little bit more archaic. It's kind of like foundational.
Sure.
But I suppose if you're just into thinking and thought and like conversation, that is very philosophical. That's like some Plato.
Yeah.
Throw it all the way back to the beginning of philosophy. So in that way, I agree with that.
All right. Well, there you go. Let's give it credit where credit is due.
Yes, that's true.
So you're at school. Were you already working as were you flirting with the idea of being an artist, or did you kind of find yourself in college as being an artist and musician and making music?
I did not rap in college. I did not rap in high school. I did not rap in Iowa. For everyone who's concerned that I might have been rapping in Iowa, I never did that. I never did that. I rapped. I always liked rap music. I really liked like, not to be embarrassing, but when like 50 Cent and Eminem came out in Iowa, that was like not like anything I had ever heard, and I was really into that. Like Nelly, those old Nelly records, the one where he's like standing up with his like stomach showing.
Yeah, the Cut Your Grammar album.
Records on that album. Oh, I love those. And I was like, what is this? So I really liked it, but I never did it until I was in Chicago. I had like lost my job, and I was like, I'm just going to start rapping. Like, let's just do this. So I was going to Sub T. I was going to Subterranean 606 open mic, Shadow Master, Annihilation.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Shadow Master. He's fantastic.
He gave me my name. Ash Wednesday is because of him.
Well, I want to backtrack a moment. There's a fantastic John Oliver clip. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I think it was from this year, where he casually inserts whether or not Nelly is a I think like a classic MC or an elite rapper. That's what it is, an elite rapper.
Classic MC, right?
No, he said elite, and then he's like hell yeah, like Country Grammar, Batters Up, EI, and like something else. He's like on a debut. If you pull up the clip, it's phenomenal. I highly encourage you to do that.
That's a great record.
No, it's still very good.
I would take it any day.
If you can go diamond on your first go route, I mean, there's nothing awful about that at all. I mean, not many have done that. So shout out to Nelly. I'm not gonna doing Dancing with the Stars now, but hey, get in where you fit in, or get it how you live. Either or. Yeah.
All those videos make rapping look so cool too. They're all dancing, the cars, the outfits, the jerseys. Oh man, we didn't have that in Iowa.
What did Shadow Master like? What did he see that Ash Wednesday? If you Google Ash Wednesday, like unfortunately your name is not the first thing to pop up. It has nothing to do with religion.
Right. Rap Ash Wednesday if you want to find me.
There you go.
But he said so. The 606 open mic is on a Tuesday, and they start at midnight. Okay, so it's really Wednesday. So he said you gave us a freestyle blessing. Like your Ash Wednesday. Yeah.
That's dope. It actually sounds like really cool too. So
there's a track of him telling the story of him giving me my name on Turn the World to Ash. The intro track is literally him. We brought him to the studio, and I was like, tell the story, and he just did his thing. It was great.
No, it's not even like a throwaway, like isn't like something you were like, this is awful. like, hey, I could actually work with this.
I took this, yeah, it was good, and I've toyed with changing my name a couple times since then, and it's never really felt right. I think it's a good fit.
No, I think it's perfect
to remember.
No, I think it's perfect. So you had the singles that you put out last month, Getting Dramatic and Solutions. The Getting Dramatic, obviously, it's a high energy kind of record. It really stands out as far as anything listening to right now in the current commercial space. So it definitely has its own identity, which I really enjoyed when I checked it out. It's like you always seem to give a different view of your music. It's not just like your traditional boom bap, hip hop, or current trap or anything drill. It has like this different flexibility of sound that allows you to be flexible as an artist. I imagine that's intentional, the way you decide to choose which music you decide to put your vocals over.
I have just left it up to the producers in a lot of ways. Like the way you hear my sound change is has a lot to do with the people who are actually making the music part. Because I just do words. And if you ask anyone who makes the music with me, I don't care what it sounds like. If I can rap over it, they make it sound the best. So Solutions and Getting Dramatic were both produced by Please. That's how you get him on the internet.
The
Follow him
social. Yep.
on the social medias. He's awesome because he is heavily influenced by footwork and like juke music, which I think is what you're hearing in the Getting Dramatic, why it's so upbeat and has that kind of, it's a different sound. You recognize it, but it's not paired with my voice necessarily. So I
Mm,
like how it kind of, I didn't intentionally go out to set out to do that, but we
yeah.
made the song and it sounded cool. We were like, let's put it out.
I don't think that it's like I don't want to say the word clash, but it doesn't feel like that. But there is a certain resistance, but it works. So
Yeah.
I'm not. It wasn't like something that felt forced. There's an enjoyable respect to the record. So I think that's impressive that they were able to take your lyrics and apply it and make it a great listening experience. So no, that's mission accomplished.
Yeah, he's amazing with my vocals in a way that I have not experienced with a producer because he takes like I'll spit 16 bars and he takes it and chops it and like puts it in different places and he has an ear for club music, so he's repeating phrases and like people like repetition. So I think that's why like these newer songs are a bit more catchier because of just the repetition. And I didn't necessarily do that. That was this guy.
Well, there
Follow
you go.
Sir DH and Please tracks. They're bringing out the club in my voice. And actually, Please had dropped one of my tracks at the Metro when they were having one of their like DJ nights there. And
Yeah.
it sounded so cool. I was like, I've never made anything that I think would sound cool in a club. Like, this sounds sweet. I was running all over. It was an amazing feeling.
You have a like the thing about you, like your presence is always evolved. Like if you even just like kind of Google some of your images, it's not like you just like have this standard look about you. Like even like the profile or the photo that you have like this great just black suit suit on. It's like there's and then if you visit like your website, like you deal with style a lot. So how do you make sure that style is like also a premise of the listening experience as well, or do you not give it that much thought?
I would say if I'm like wearing clothes, it's a success. I am like, it's not, I can't style myself. I need a stylist. If you know any, send me one my way. But most of the way I pick like what I wear or like how I'm presenting myself or like the look I'm going for, it's like functional and it like looks kind of cool. It looks okay. I'd say a lot of people would think I can't dress myself though. Did it break? You can see us both and hear us both. I'm glad I haven't said anything questionable.
Hey, it looks like we made it back. You know, it's the future. That's what happens.
I thought I would make use of the dead air time.
There you go. No, we were just talking a little bit about like incorporating your style into the music.
Yeah, I'm saying if I'm wearing clothes, it's like a good day. Like the fact that it's a style to some people is a blessing. I think I'm very functional, and I do think I wear what I like to get around. So it helps me do the music. You can't just be doing. I guess there's a lot of women who rap who do the music in like a lot of clothes that are specific and like ornate, but I don't even think I could do that. It's okay. I can still see you.
I could see you, but I hear you.
Hmm.
No.
Dramatic with me on the phone, getting dramatic with me on the messenger. Why are you getting dramatic with me on the phone? Why are you getting dramatic with me on the messenger? Getting dramatic with me on the phone. Hello, getting dramatic with me on the messenger. Why are you getting dramatic with me on the phone? I was just doing the math, checking to see it's correct. Sum it when I add and I never subtract. I go all the way across the map. I go all the way across the map. I go all the way across the map. I'm seeing palm trees and I see a share from ash. I'm seeing palm trees and I see a share from ash. I know what's important, let's get it back. You can only get it with the text. Getting dramatic with me on the phone, getting dramatic with me on the messenger. Why are you getting dramatic with me on the phone? Why are you getting dramatic with me on the messenger? Getting dramatic with me on the phone. Hello, getting dramatic with me on the messenger. Why are you getting dramatic with me on the phone? Y'all stay broke, it's a shame. Y'all stay broke, it's a shame to me. Y'all stay broke, it's a shame. Y'all stay broke, it's a shame to me. Y'all do the same shit, see I'm the same. Y'all do the same, see I'm the same to me. I don't see it if it's same to me, same to me, same to me. You don't have it like I have it, I can see. I need 3 meetings, I'll be in the door. Then we go to market at 4. I sit back and plan some more. We are what we are, so get in the car, let's go. Get in the car, let's go. Spoke to me like you couldn't know how it would go. Getting dramatic with me on the phone. Getting dramatic with me on the messenger. Why are you getting dramatic with me on the phone? Why are you getting dramatic with me on the messenger? Getting dramatic with me on the phone. Hello, getting dramatic with me on the messenger. Why are you getting dramatic with me on the phone? Getting dramatic with me on the phone. Getting dramatic. Why are you getting dramatic with me on the phone? Why are you getting dramatic with me on the messenger?
I'm not sure what's going on.
I'm having fun either way.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry. I don't mean to ruin your experience here on Weekend at Gabe.
I'm having
We're supposed to be a fun.
I'm having an amazing experience on Weekend at Gabe's, Gabe. Don't you even worry about it.
All right, I hope so. I know I ate into a lot of time trying to get back into the fold of things. What is there gonna? Are you working on the album? Is that going to be coming out soon? Or are you working on something bigger, or is it you're comfortable kind of releasing singles at the moment?
There's a 2-track project with Saint Icky coming from Bad Luck Records.
Cool.
Also produced by.
These tracks. There you go.
I'm excited about that. We actually made 4 tracks, but I think we're just gonna put out 2. 2 is a nice round number. And then I'm bringing back the guys from Turn the World to Ash, my like kind of alt band that I started out with. We don't play live instruments anymore, but we put them on some electronic production. So I'm gonna have them bring me their first project as fully digital producers.
Oh, fantastic! So, are you looking at working on it this year, or maybe for a 2021 release?
Probably 2021. All the songs are done. I just have to like get it mixed, and I don't know. I think it's gonna be kind of clunky. So probably 2021.
All right, that sounds good. In the meantime, are your the web series that we're talking about at the top, Insight or Enlighten. I'm sorry, Enlighten. Yeah, you and Show You Suck. So, are you guys collaborating on that together?
It's my series, but he was my first guest, and then I was like, "You'd be a great host as well." So I brought him as my host for the second episode, which was Chicago Star corporate. Okay, folks, I'm just saying. But no, that's a really fun show. We've only made 2 episodes, and I have a lot of people on a list that I would like to do. It's just the cinematographer moved to a different state, which broke my heart. So I need to plug in some pieces to get some additional versions or some additional episodes made, because Enlighten, it's basically, for people who haven't seen it, it's basically a YouTube series where we chronicle like artists or entrepreneurs or, you know, people who have their own way of doing their life, and they have like to say about that. So yeah, the first episode was Show You Suck, obviously, and Corporate number 2.
No, they're fantastic. They're brief, but it's like they're filled with a lot of information. So it doesn't feel like you have to like commit a lot of time, obviously, because we live in the ADD space where too much of anything is bad.
3 minutes. That's a digital golden rule. I'm not trying to keep your attention too long. Like 3 minutes is long enough.
There you go. So
funny, you know.
So if you're watching the replay of this interview, you've lasted longer than we thought you would.
That's a true story right there. I like that these are chronicled though, so people can watch them back. That's a huge benefit.
All right, fantastic. Well, let us know if you want to come back and talk about the album when it comes out. We'd love to have you back, hopefully without any interruptions. So we apologize for the technical difficulties. So, but we do appreciate you joining us and letting us know that you're doing well and that you're still working and you got other stuff in the cooker. It looks like.
Yeah, I'm bringing you more. Thanks for having me, Gabe. Appreciate you.
That's what I love. Tell people where they can follow you on the socials and at the rapashwednesday.com, is it?
Rapashwednesday.com is my website. This is Twitter, Instagram. Follow these guys. I'm doing too many. Just follow me. That's really the only important thing. Yeah. And I have a YouTube channel. If you search for Ash Wednesday, if you search for Enlighten, if you want to watch it, it's INLIGHTN.
Nice.
So a little bit awkward spelling, but check it out.
All right, we will most certainly do that. Keep us posted. Hey, maybe I might be a guest and you just come interview me. That'd be cool.
I like it. Put it in the air.
No, just shoot my shot.
I like it.
All right, well, enjoy the rest of your evening and your weekend. Thank you again for checking in with us. Please stay in touch and let us know when you want to come back.
I will. Enjoy your weekend, Gabe.
Weekend at Gabe's. Plug. All right, that's Ash Wednesday joining us here at Weekend at Gabe's. That's going to be our time as well. If you missed any part of this interview, we will cut it and clip it together and put it up on YouTube, and you can find that on the socials at Weekend Gabe. on YouTube. You can check out and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also, we are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So we will put out the audio version of the interview that we did with Brittney Carter earlier in the hour, and also with Ash Wednesday. We are still booking our shows for next Tuesday and Friday. So we can stay tuned to our social medias for any updates and alerts as we move through the weekend. But thanks to everyone who's been checking out the show. And who's been providing some great commentary and feedback. We appreciate the love and the support, and the show's going to continue to grow as we add and build and introduce more pieces. We'll see where it goes, but I'm really looking forward to it. All right, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Maybe on Tuesday, we'll have a president-elect. We'll see. All right, Weekend Gabe, I'm out. Bye.